Hi everyone, Tori here with another scrapbooking process video called 20 Red Balloons. And I'm going to be using these 3 photos that I printed with my Canon selfie of red balloons that we had all over our house at Christmas time. I'm also going to be using this paper that came in the Studio Calico Cirque kit. And it has this wood grain and then this pink on the bottom. Now originally when I received this paper, it's called Die Job, I really wanted to use the hearts on the other side, but the layout that I ended up wanting to make just did not work on that side. And it actually really popped on the brown, so I decided to go with that instead, and I'm really happy with the way that it turned out. So I'm going to be using those 3 photos of the red balloons, and I'm also going to be using some balloons that I cut out using my silhouette, and I took some stamp brushes from Studio Calico. Unfortunately, they're not available anymore, so sorry. And I turned them into cut files and cut out these balloons. But I'm sure you could find other balloons in, say, the Silhouette store or design them yourself. And I really wanted it to be balloons because the main focus behind this layout is the 20 balloons that are decorating the house. So just while I'm playing around with this, I'm going to speed it up in a minute, but while I'm playing around with it, I'll tell you why there are 20 red balloons and sort of a little bit about these pictures. So as many of you know through my album walkthroughs, I spent a year and a half with the African Children's Choir as head teacher and as chaperone, and I just traveled for a year and a half all over Canada and the United States and the UK with Choir 39, or this choir, who did singing to raise money for their education. And it was one of the most amazing experiences of my life, honestly. I couldn't even sum it up in words if I tried. And these kids that I traveled with basically became like my own kids. I love them to pieces and I miss them every single day. At the end of their tour, they head back to Africa or Uganda. That's where my kids came from. And they go to school there and they have their education paid all the way through university, which is a life-changing experience for kids who come from poor neighborhoods and poverty, like these kids. They come from the poorest of poor neighborhoods, a lot of them from single parents, families, or living with family members because their parents are dead. And the tour is really a life-changing experience for them, just like it was for me. At the end of the tour, when they headed home, I also headed home, and I miss them every day. I miss them so much. It's hard to put it into words, but it's like they're my kids, but they're on the other side of the world. So if you're a parent, can you just imagine like having to give up your kids and not knowing if you'll ever get to see them again or when you'll get to see them again? It's really sad, and I miss them so very much. Um, so I I'm doing this layout inspired by them and inspired by something one of the kids told me while on tour. I was sitting on the bus and I was talking to Richard and Gibson, who are 2 of the kids, and I asked them about Christmas time in their villages. Like, what do they do for Christmas? Do they get to celebrate Christmas? Do they give gifts and stuff like that? And they were telling me that their families don't really have a lot of money, so it's not like they really get to do that much at Christmas time. Like they've never gotten gifts before, or they don't have money for a special meal, or I mean, they're lucky if they get to eat, right? So they were telling me that sometimes if someone in the village has some money, they will put up balloons, and usually they're red balloons, just to celebrate Christmas. And they'll save their money just to put up some decorations, and their decorations they put up are red balloons. And balloons are pretty cheap for them, so it's not like it really costs them that much money to do it. Anyways, the year after the kids left, it's been about a year and a half now that they've been back in Africa. I miss them so much, and it was Christmas time, and I was missing them so much that I wanted to do something at Christmas to remember them and to think about them and to be reminded to pray for them and to think about them. And I was reminded of that conversation that Richard and Gibson and I had about the red balloons. And I decided to put up 20 red balloons. In my house, we just decorated the house with our regular Christmas supplies, but we also put up 20 red balloons, one balloon for each kid on the choir. And I miss them like crazy, but it was also a great reminder every day of each of those precious kids. So the red balloons, obviously they don't replace the kids that I miss like crazy, but it did feel like they were close. And I'm really thankful that my family let me put up all those red balloons and that they were totally okay with it. So I really wanted to do a really special layout about all of those red balloons all over the house, and to remember why I had put them up and what was the purpose and everything. So that's sort of what the inspiration behind this layout was, and I thought it would be really fun to use balloons that I had cut out from my silhouette to mimic the balloons in the photos. So anyways, I'm sorry I've been talking a lot about the story and haven't actually told you anything about what I'm doing on this layout. So just to sort of sum up what I've done so far is I wanted a little bit of that pink heart paper that was on the background to be on the front. So I cut a little bit off and I put it on top of that pink dyed part of the wood grain. And then I also wanted a little strip of pink at the bottom. So I added that using just some paper from my stash. Once I was done with that, I arranged the photos on the balloons that I wanted to use, and then I added my journaling on 2 of the heart balloons. I'm going to hot glue the balloons all down where I want them, and I'm using hot glue because I love it, and because I like the dimension that the hot glue brings by just sort of cooling sort of before it goes down. It's like instant pop dots on the back of my balloons, and I'm adding lots of glue because I love hot glue. And I don't know, hot glue gun is my go-to adhesive, which is sort of comical because this week on the Studio Calico message boards, I got called out. Somebody was asking me why I use hot glue and if it's good to use and how I manage to use it. So if you're out there and you called me out, I know who you are. Just teasing. So I guess the question I got asked on the Studio Calico board was, does the hot glue last over time and do things pop up? So I haven't had any trouble with anything that I've hot glued to my paper coming off. I actually find hot glue is like one of the longest lasting adhesives that I use, and it's super cheap, so that's another reason why I use it. Like I can buy like 150 hot glue sticks at Walmart for like half the price of one roll of adhesive. And to me, that's just more cost efficient and it's super easy to use too. I think the question was being asked about, do things last on the paper? And I found that they have. Hot glue works really well on paper to paper. It doesn't work really well on if you're like trying to glue something to glass or plastic. But if you're gluing things to paper, I find it usually works. So I don't have problems with my hot glue with buttons or sequins or paper or any of those things. It works pretty well for me. And I know at this, Auburn is shaking her head because she said in her message that she adores my videos, but she always shakes her head whenever I use the hot glue gun because if it was her, it would be a huge mess. So I would like to say, one, my hot glue gun is a huge mess, and I am totally okay with my huge mess. Scrapbooking for me is definitely a messy activity, and I like getting glitter and glue and stuff everywhere. I don't know. I just, it's something about the tactileness of it or something that I love. And I totally get glue stick strings, or I don't know, spider strings. I don't know what you call them, but you know those strings that come off when you're hot gluing? I get those everywhere. So if it's not just it's not just you, I get them too. But I have a really cool trick, which I actually haven't shown you in a video, but I want to tell you about if you love using hot glue but hate those little spider strings. here is the boom, okay? If you hate those little spider strings, grab your heat gun, like the heat gun that you emboss things with, or a hair dryer, and when your project is dry and the hot glue is dry and you have those spider webs everywhere, use your heat gun or your hair dryer to blow them away. Literally, like, take the heat gun to those spider strings and they will just fly and flitter away, and you won't have any more problems. It works really well if you're trying to get all those strings away. The only time I haven't found it work well is if I'm trying to get the strings off a picture. So if you get hot glue on your picture, that's not coming off, or I haven't been able to figure out a way to get it off. But if it's just on your paper or your embellishments, your wonderful heat gun is the magic trick. And one other thing, I have no clue if my hot glue gun is archivally safe. I highly doubt it. Although I did some research and I found out that you can find archivally safe glue sticks and glue guns. So if that's something that really matters to you, totally go do some research, Google it. I'm sure you'll be able to find it. As my tech professor in university would say, is GTS. Google that stuff. And sorry, I'm so giddy. I had a really long day at work and I was so tired. So I'm just going to finish up this layout now and stop talking about my love for glue guns. So what you've been seeing me do, even though I haven't explained it, is I took some embroidery floss and I'm adding the strings to the bottom of the balloons. And I was trying to decide whether I wanted them to just hang loose and just go wherever, or if I wanted to sort of guide them with some glue as to where I wanted them. And I really loved when the strings have twirls or twists in them, so I am going to end up gluing them down where I want them to go. But just before I do that, I'm going to map my photos and put those down. So I grabbed some of the scrap papers that I had in my stash, just to use those, just so that I didn't have to cut up a new paper. And these scraps all come from the Cirque kit. They're just different pieces. And I'm just going to layer them behind all of the photos and do a quick mat. They're each going to be matted twice, once with this like light pink paper, and then once with the gold sparkly paper that I absolutely adore and wish I had 10 more sheets of. And I love that that just gives a little more definition to the photos and helps them pop off of the white balloons. And I'm just trimming those with my scissors, not trying to be perfect or anything. I actually like the handmade, not perfect look of it to me. And you'll notice that I like to map my photos. It's sort of something I do on almost every layout. Anyways, while I'm doing that, I have something I want to say. I want to say you rock. Yep, you. All of you are amazing, and I am so incredibly thankful and blessed by you. I have been getting so many comments and likes and subscriptions, and it honestly is astonishing to me. Like, I have no clue why anybody watches my videos, but apparently people do. So thank you. Please keep watching them. Please keep liking and subscribing and commenting. I love hearing your comments and hearing what you think, and I love answering your questions too. So feel free to keep leaving those comments and asking those questions. So I currently have 477 subscribers, which is absolutely astonishing to me. And as my dad says when I told him that, oh, that must be it. There are no more scrapbookers in the world. And I'm like, no, I think there's more than that. Because some people have thousands of people view their videos. So there are lots of people just like me who love glitter and sparkles and glue. Welcome to the club. Sorry, I told you, I'm really silly. Anyways, okay, back to what I was saying. I'm so thankful for you, and I have 477 subscribers. Once I hit 500 subscribers, I'm going to do an awesome giveaway. So I hope you subscribe so that you can find out about that giveaway and keep your eyes peeled, because that giveaway is coming soon, because I'm sure it'll be any day now that I reach 500, which is just absolutely astonishing and wonderful and crazy, and oh, I don't know why anybody listens to me, but you do. So Okay, I want to thank you with a giveaway, so keep your eyes open for my 500 subscriber giveaway, which will hopefully be happening soon, as long as the 477 isn't the absolute max of number of people that will ever watch me. It's possible, but I don't think so. So hopefully there's more, because otherwise the 477 of you will never get that giveaway. Sorry. Sucks to be you. I'm just teasing. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just add some twirls and twists to those different strings, just because I wanted to sort of adhere them where I wanted them to go. I am letting some of it hang loose, but little bits of it I'm just going to adhere where I want it to go. And I'm also going to trim some of the pieces just to make them a little shorter, tuck them behind things, and just arrange those where I think they should go. Now, unfortunately, my camera runs out of battery, so it is going to cut off the last couple minutes, so sorry about that. All I've added is some pink and red enamel dots and some gold chipboard hearts. And I also add my title, which is 20 red balloons, and a date stamp. So you're seeing that in the picture here. Sorry I missed recording that. Anyways, thanks everyone for joining me. I hope you have a lovely day. Bye.